Hi, the name of my book is Shmee Bob, the Year 4000, and I wrote it because I just recently read a really good science fiction novel called The Search for Wandsla, and I wanted to kind of do something based on that, but not based on that, but I like it because I think it's a good mix between science fiction and comedy. And they also have pretty funny names. So I hope you like it. Chapter 1, Geek. Geek stepped out of her house, pushing away the rubble that held back the door. The sky was dark and foggy, as if somebody had dimmed the lights on the city. It was silent, except for the sudden calls from crows that ascended somewhere out of the rubble at the sight of Geek. Her heart raced as her sweaty palms held the tattered door open, the broken glass stinging her fingers. She lugged the heavy backpack out of the crack in the door, wedged open by a large piece of cement intertwined with wires and screws. Geek peered inside of the backpack. She heavily breathed. The air was thick with gas. Geek wiped away her bangs, her oily black slick hair, each strand choppy and short. She opened the backpack and examined the items inside as she picked at her dirt-caked fingernails. In the bag were 2 cans of soup, a bottle of water, and a blanket, bread, and sunglasses. Geek in all 12 years of her life had never seen the sun, so there was really no reason for sunglasses, though she wasn't going to take any chances. She threw the backpack on and trudged through the mess of toppled-down buildings. Shmee Bob had attacked again, so Geek was headed for one place, and one place only. The SVRG. Chapter 2, Jabab. Captain, the Shmee Bob radar is flashing red, Jabab yelled over the intercom. People rushed around the room frantically. Then the large metal doors swung open. Everyone stopped in their tracks and saluted the captain. Paying no attention to them, he just marched to the back of the room where Jabab was. He pushed Jabab aside and typed in a plethora of random numbers. And a screen extended out of a wall. On the screen there was a caution sign. "He's extremely close," the captain murmured. Send out the troops." "But Captain, if we send out the troops, they are sure to be seen." The captain bent down and typed in yet another plethora of random numbers. He looked to the screen, taking a step back. Bob felt a bolt of shock and fear bounce through his body as he stared up to the screen. It was not a plethora of numbers the captain had been typing in. It was a letter to the main headquarters. The words on the screen, icy cold and demon-like, slipped into his heart and made it skip a beat. It read, "We are sending out 8776. 8776 was Jabab's code name. Jabab raced down the stairs, grabbing a disintegrator 3000 and a hoverboard. Now there were about 9 different alarms going off at different times. There was no time to lose. Jabab took the disintegrator 3000 and charged at the window. Boom! The window disintegrated into sand. Jabab hopped onto his hoverboard and took off. Jabab looked around for some place to take cover until the beast was in close enough range to fire. The closest place was an abandoned building. He shot the boards that enclosed the building's window with his disintegrator 3000 and dashed through the cloud of sawdust and tumbling into the building's trashed room. The room was adorned with vines with strange egg formations dangling from them. The vines curled around the eggs like hands. As Jabab looked around the room and out the window, he saw what he was looking for. Shmee Bob. He charged his disintegrator 3000. The beast was unaware. Jabab hopped on his hoverboard and flew down to the ground and behind a large pile of rubble, waiting for the monster to get in close range to fire. 5, 4, 3. Jabab muttered to himself slowly. 2. Then, suddenly, a voice came from somewhere in the maze of toppled buildings. Help! Help! A silhouette of a girl appeared running through the maze of crashed cars, dead trees, and cement boulders, dodging the firebolt that Shmee Bob was ejecting from his mouth. Bob let go of the charging trigger and ran over to the girl. It was too dangerous on a hoverboard. He would be clearly spotted. When he got to the girl, he slapped the metal hand of his mechanical arm over her mouth, pulling her down underneath a small ledge of broken cement. The monster turned around, its scaled aqua face looking around with piercing yellow eyes. Then it just trudged away. Bob released his hands from the girl's mouth. Ugh! I think you made my nose bleed. The girl winced at the sight of blood dripping on the ground. What were you doing? Trying to get us killed? Bob yelled harshly. No, replied the girl, wiping the blood off her nose with the sleeve of her shirt. What's your name, anyways? Bob asked. The girl looked up from her vigorous wiping. Geek. Chapter 3, the SBRG. Bob helped Geek up with his mechanical arm. What happened to it? Geek asked. Your arm? Bob was silent and looked away. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, well, you're the first human my age that I've ever seen. Geek looked down at her feet in embarrassment. Bob looked back at Geek. Oh, it's fine. Where were you headed anyways? He said, dusting the dirt off his knees. The Shmee Bob Resistance Group. SBRG? Geek answered, her mind still wandering from the earlier event. Do you know anything about it? Do I? Replied Bob. He reached out his mechanical arm. He slid his finger down the winded tubes of metal. Finally, he stopped and tapped the spot where he stopped. Engraved in the metal were the letters SBRG. Wow! Geek exclaimed. Could you take me there? What luck, she thought to herself. Well, it's not all that easy. First, you have to take numerous tests to determine your strengths, Bob replied. Geek